Good afternoon, everybody. How is everybody doing? On a close-up camera. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Louise.
That's enough of that.
That's enough of that shenanigans.
Yeah, I guess we watched Spirited yesterday.
Yeah, we watched Spirited yesterday. Very good. Watched Spirited last night. Have to excuse, just trying to sort the place out from the few films we did on the end of last week. So how is everybody today? Can you all hear me? More importantly, can you hear the lovely Louise? Oh,
can
Louise,
you hear me?
We've got information on your screen that we don't need.
Ah,
there we go.
make it go away.
Cool, cool, cool. Excellent, good. Hope everyone's okay. Can you hear Louise?
Can you hear me?
Excellent. Can you all hear? If you can, good, good, good. Let us know in the chat, which would be good. If you're watching us on replay, thank you for your comments, but there's no need to reply to say, yes, I can hear you. Good, good. Just trying to sort things out. Hope everyone's having a good few weeks. Has it been a few weeks since we joined? No, last week, wasn't it? Lots of things have happened. Don't forget, you can still get your Dustin texture plates. We still have a few left on our website. They are £50. If you want that, I think Dustin have stopped their discount. We did have a pre-sale. Absolutely amazing response from that. So thank you everybody who joined in for that. I am going to give Dustin a plug because I have to admit we were all blown away. This is what I was playing with, and we've just put out a YouTube film literally half an hour ago showing me using this. This is, as you can see, Dustin tools, but it is a star disc cutter. Can you call it a star disc cutter, Louise, or is it just a star-shaped cutter?
Cut stars?
Cut stars. It punches out stars.
Probably the accurate description.
And we were a little bit skeptical when we had this. We thought, how is it going to be? But we've been punching out small little, tiny little 6mm stars. Absolutely fantastic. Right up to the 30mm stars, and it is absolutely brilliant. And I have to say, and I am going to say it because again this blew me away. So as you can see, let's try and go on the overhead so you can see. I know this is a bit of a plug for Dustin, but I do have to say that this is absolutely brilliant. Let me try and zoom in on this camera so you can see. So we've got the stars, you can see, but I was amazed that the punch fits in perfectly. Turn it around a little, you can't really see my fingers in the way, but and yeah, I don't know what I was expecting, but every position that this goes in, it fits absolutely spot on every single time.
What day did it, when you kept running out with little stars and putting them on my desk, like they were just different size stars, but like each time you were more impressed than the last.
I really was.
And I was like, no more stars,
no
I'm
more
busy.
Stars. You've got enough star earrings now, thank you very much, Andrew.
Stop giving me silver stars.
But the engineering that needed to go developing that and creating that, it isn't like the star has to go in one position. You can actually put the punch, it's perfect all there. Anyway, enough of that. So whoever was enjoying their lead up to Christmas, we went shopping yesterday, didn't we?
We did.
And we popped in to see
Naomi Ray.
Naomi Ray. I knew the Ray was in it. Naomi Ray in Hut 33 in Cardiff in the Christmas market. I don't think that she's there today. I think she finished yesterday.
I think she finished yesterday.
And it's actually lovely. She has some lovely, amazing stuff there.
We're trying to get around as many as we can, but obviously we're busy this time of year as well. So I think we're planning on. We've got some tentative plans to visit a market Thursday.
We
so
have.
we know that some of you are there in that particular market. So
look out for us.
Yeah, so we're trying to do as much of our Christmas shopping in the Christmas markets to support independents, really, aren't we?
Yeah, small local people.
We just think corporates get enough of our money.
Yeah,
So,
it's nice
yeah.
to give somebody else a share of it, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
That's the way we're looking at it. So yeah, if you're at a particular market on Thursday, just keep a lookout for Louise and myself, who will be coming around and just saying hello.
Yeah, so I got my lovely earrings and I'm wearing them today as well.
Let's go on to Louise's here. You've got your lovely, and they're holly berries. Well, holly and berries.
I don't know how they're made. I just was like, ooh, they're pretty.
Well, I looked at them really closely. Do you want to do a bit of a close-up on these here? And we'll see.
Yeah.
It does actually, it looks like they're on copper, done correctly.
I think it's copper with silver findings.
Yeah, but they've counteracted the copper on the other side as well, and we think these are really, really cute. Copper, but look, obviously done it correctly on the back, stops the copper curling, but on the front we've got this really, really cool design. And Louise, I absolutely love these. These are really good.
I was supposed to be shopping for other people.
But you had them for yourself. But
Wow,
they're really lovely.
got to be done, isn't it,
So we
sometimes?
loved that, didn't we?
Yeah, so that was fab. Yes.
And then we popped to see, we didn't actually pop to see her, Susie Horan in the craft market in Hinsel Court.
Yes, and she does the most gorgeous corrugated pieces, doesn't she? But she's just really, really gorgeous.
So yeah, so we love that. So we did a nice bit of shopping, didn't we?
Yes,
Really
lovely.
good.
It was fab. Yeah.
Any more news?
Yes, I thought we'd all share in my advent calendar today.
You flashing, Louise? You're flashing
Am
again.
I flashing?
You always seem to
Make me stop flashing.
Must be something to do with my connection. So I'm just going to, pardon the expression, I'm just going to pull Louise's plug. A minute. It's a bit of a, I'm going to pull out the plug and the camera as well. I don't know why, but we seem to be getting a bit of funniness. There we go. You should be back. You back?
Am I back? Am I flashing?
You're back.
Good. Okay.
You should be okay. All right then. Louise, show us.
Shall we?
This is the Gemology Rocks Advent Calendar. I'm going to zoom in. How far can I zoom in? Excuse the... there we go.
So far we've had Tanzanite on the first, Opal was the second, Peridot was the third, and Amethyst was the fourth. Oh, sorry. So not only do you get the fabulous stone, which are all recycled, so they're all great for the environment, you also get access to an online mini course, which is fabulous, isn't it? And do you know the best thing about it, which is an unexpected benefit?
What is
we're so busy this time of year, aren't we?
Yes.
But it kind of makes you sit down and slow down, because we've got another advent calendar and it's chocolate or whatever, and you open it and you go, that's nice, and then you eat the chocolate or you chuck the thing to one side. But with this, you sit down, you open your advent calendar, but then we sit down, don't we?
Yeah.
With a cup of tea or whatever, or a glass of sherry if it's the weekend, and we watch Kerry's mini course, which accompanies the advent calendar, and it's actually time out of our day where we just sit down and relax and do something. You're forced to just do, not forced obviously because we do it gladly, but you just do something.
You're made to sit down
and slow down
and listen to it and watch and go.
And you want to, because it's fascinating, it's brilliant, and you're learning at the same time. But Kerry's the kind of person who really inspires me and like piques my interest in a subject and makes me want to go and research it even further. So it's really, really motivational in that respect as well. And the other thing I've been finding is every day the information that you're getting in the calendar is giving me ideas for social media posts for next year. So I've started a little file. So the things I'm thinking of, the information, I'm writing it down. And it's fab. And our customers and clients for the shop love, I mean, as everybody does, loves gemstones, don't they? And loves learning little facets and snippets and things like that. So so there's lots, and but I really love that sitting down and that ritual where we sit down and we both watch it, don't we? And we love it.
What is today?
It just helps you unwind. Well, what is the
today?
Fifth
is the 5th
today? What's it going to be? Where are we? Where are we? Here we are.
Number 5.
Drum roll, please. Are you going to? Yes, no, I am. I'm going to do it now. Bear with me. Keep doing the drum roll. It's because my nails are thick. I've got thick fingernails. It's my biab. Maybe I got it. Okay, I've got it. Ready? Ready? Oh.
All right, keep coming, my own.
Okay.
Hey.
Emerald!
Emerald! Good. So we got a nice pear-shaped emerald.
Yes.
But they are all recycled, but they're not scratched or anything
No,
like
they're
that.
good quality. They're as new, aren't they? They're all the ones we've seen, but they're recycled, yeah.
All really good quality. So
I was going to say, that is a nice emerald.
It's a decent size, isn't it?
Yeah. Sharon asked me earlier, what are you going to do with them all? And I was like, I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead. But yeah, it's just super exciting every day.
So well done.
So yeah, perhaps we'll open, because yeah, we're posting on social about it as well. So we're doing our little reels, aren't we? But yeah, so next week will be a week closer, and we will open another one.
Very good. Let me just take you back a bit. Sorry about this, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. Cool. Excellent. Good. We loved that, didn't we?
Good, yeah, exciting.
Anything more to say?
I don't think so at the moment, unless I think of any. Lewis saying my emerald is oval, but my peridot was pear-shaped. Yes, I think they are all slightly different. I noticed Dimitri's was slightly different in shape.
Yes.
I think he had a pear tanzanite, and I had like a cushion cut tanzanite. But yeah, so they are recycled stones, so they are...
They're already...
Yeah, it's nice that they're not all the same, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's the same stone on the same day, but not necessarily the same cut.
Yeah.
Good.
Excellent.
So we love that, don't we? It's
cool.
It's just that little bit of watching.
It's that time out that I love as well, Richard. I didn't think about till I started doing it.
Yes. That was quite cool, wasn't it?
What?
My mixing luck. Whoop. Whoop.
Okay.
Look at this, ready? Whoop. Diagonal. Should we just mix it? So we're going to mix and we go, yeah, that's better.
Okay.
Or should we dip? Sorry guys, I'm just having a bit of fun, and then we won't dip, we'll just mix. Sorry, okay, anything else?
Not for the moment. I have got a photo to show you, but I'll wait till halfway through.
Okay.
Yep.
Brilliant. Okay, so should we start?
Yes, please.
It's Monday, the 5th of December, 4 p.m.-ish. We do chat a bit too much. It's time for the latest Q&A session here with Andrew and the lovely Louise. Louise, let's have another way to start off and have our first question, shall we?
Okay, Tanya is saying, I've just finished my ring, but the bezel for the stone is slightly too big. What do I do, please?
The bezel for the stone is too big. You really would have to cut it and make it smaller. There's not much else you can really do. I suppose it depends on whether you can get the amount of metal over that gap and onto the stone, I suppose. So the cross section through your bezel is going to look a bit like that. And I don't know what stone is. Is it a cabochon? And the cabochon perhaps fits on one side but then stops short, is it? And you've got a gap. But the problem is you're going to have to try and get the metal over the gap, which really is going to be the hardest part to do. You may be better off, and I'm going to use an oval, and say that's your stone, okay? And then you've got your bezel. So there's your stone. If you've got your bezel, and the bezel is big on the one side, then it touches, and it's like this. Don't try, I'm just trying to think of ways that you don't have to go messing about with the bezel and making it smaller. If you've got this, you can get the metal over this edge nice and easily, but when it comes around here, it's going to be too much of a gap. So try perhaps, and so I don't know what the situation is with yours stone, is try and get the stone even in the bezel, so it's an equal amount of space all the way around it, and then ease the metal over this side a bit so it just comes and over touches the stone. Okay, then when you push down on this side, the stone isn't going to be pushed all the way to the end because the bezel is coming over, just stopping the stone from going. So you may be able to do it that way and then just ease the bezel over so it just touches the stone. And on the one side here, push the bezel over so it's just touching the stone. Then when you come over this side, then you can push it over. So do you know what I mean? You're sort of almost like crimping it to keep the stone central. and then you can go back around, then easing the metal, obviously going from this direction, then this direction, this direction, this direction. So try and do it that way, try and even out the gap all the way around. And I've drawn a faceted. You could just simply have you know, a cabochon and do exactly the same thing and make sure that the gap around the bezel is the same distance, and that will stop this massive gap that you'd have if you just simply had the stone at the one side, or you just simply cut the bezel and make it smaller. Up to you. But that's a nice easy way of doing it, just to make things easy for you. But obviously if there's too much gap all the way around, you're never going to do it, so your best bet would be to just perhaps cut the bezel and just make it a little bit smaller. Maybe a bit of a problem if it's fastened onto a back plate. You'd have to then take the whole thing apart, or perhaps make up another bezel to go inside the bezel to take up the distance of the stone, perhaps. So again, side view, here's the back plate, here's the bezel, and if your stone fits in here and it's just much too small, well then perhaps put another bezel inside.
Could you use a different colour metal to make it into a bit of a feature?
You could use a different type of metal, or what you could do is have that bezel, okay, so you wouldn't necessarily have to solder it and then take that down and have that low as a step, and then use the bezel you just put on the inside to burnish over the stone. Yes, Lynn? Go.
I was going to say, but it's not going to work. Could you, and then you could like, I can't think of the word, have like the outer bezel as like a partial bezel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that, yes. Yeah, so it's like a step. Castellated.
Yes, couldn't think of the word, yeah.
Yes, you could, yeah. And do it that way.
Make it a design feature.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you can fit another piece of metal in that gap all the way round, that may, and you can force it in. You could actually cheat and put a little bit of cement underneath to hold the stone and the bezel in place. But that would be a nice way of doing it then, wouldn't it? So this is your original bezel trimmed short, and this is your new bezel that you've just put into place, straight-sided, oval or round, whatever shape, and burnish that over. So that's holding it, but the original bezel is just for decoration. Yeah, so Louise, let's have another question.
Okay, good. Timora is saying, I would love to know if you can make sheet metal harder after annealing when it is already in shape, after soldering.
Yes, you can. You can, in theory, put it in a kiln to harden it. I don't remember the degrees or the time you got to hold it at the degrees, but you can harden another piece of metal simply by raising it to a certain temperature and holding it there. But you do need a kiln because you need to have the accuracy of the degrees, centigrade or Fahrenheit, to keep the metal at for a certain amount of time. That is going to be the only way. Or you can come along with perhaps an agate burnisher or a really, really polished burnisher and just go over the whole surface to try and burnish it. You may get some slight ripples where the burnish has been, perhaps, depending on how accurate and how long you're going to spend burnishing it, but that is going to be the only way of doing it. Some people will say put it in a tumbler. Doesn't work, because the tumbler, the action of the tumbler is only going to harden the top microscopic layer. It doesn't, the compounding action and the burnishing action doesn't work its way all the way inside the metal. It'll just do the very, very thin surface, but the metal is still going to bend. It doesn't make any bit of difference whatsoever. Hope that helps. Louise, let's have another question. Do you notice Louise has got her Merry Krampus on today? The 5th of December?
Krampusnacht.
Krampusnacht. Tell us a story, Lou.
Well, it's a centuries old Central European legend, I think, of a, it's a bit of a grim story actually. It's kind of like a half goat, half beast, cloven hooved horned monster who picks up naughty children. It's kind of like the anti-Father Christmas.
Yeah, but he doesn't really, does he? Because what he does, he leaves something in there.
He does leave, he gives them a bit of a warning, so I think you get things in your shoe. So unless you've had like birch twigs put in your shoes, or I think there's other, I can't remember what the other warnings are. to change your ways, then already watched the movie. But bro, there's villages where people dress up, and it's a great big. It's like say centuries old legend.
We watched a few last year, didn't we?
Yeah, some are better than others.
Yes.
Yeah. But yes, so they either get
They get a warning to be good.
They do get a warning to be good. So, but there's no mucking about with the Krampus. There's none of this. You don't get any presents. You do get punished if you're naughty. So, yeah. The Whitby. Oh, Lynn. Yes, the Whitby Krampus, because they do it there, don't they? Yeah, I don't. I like anything kind of gothic and like my brother. Yeah, so we're a bit like that, and that's why. Yeah. So it's Krampus, but there's a bell, isn't there? There's a Krampus bell.
Didn't think it's from Austria.
Austria, yeah, I know there's lots of Central European countries that it's like an Alpine legend, isn't it?
So is Evil Santa on Netflix then, John saying?
Evil Santa, yeah, the anti-Santa.
Watch that tonight.
Oh, I'm scared. No, it's not on Krampus Night, obviously. Mind you, I haven't had any warning, so I'm probably all right. Yeah, we'll watch it tonight. Anyway, yeah.
Good. It's another question.
Okay. Barbara is saying, I made an ingot, but it won't go through my rolling mill. Can I hammer it until it's flat enough and thin enough to go through my rolling mill? Any special instructions?
Yes, you can. A lot of people do actually suggest you hammer an ingot before you start to put it through the rolling mill. Excuse me. I've never ever done that. I've never had to need, because people say, it's about aligning the. I would love to be proved wrong on this. People will say you need to hammer your ingot to align the crystals, so when you put it through the rolling mill, it doesn't crack. But I think my argument would be, well, if you're hammering it to compress the crystals, what does the rolling mill do? Doesn't the rolling mill compress the crystals just like the hammering does, albeit in a slightly perhaps different direction? But yes, you can hammer it, but make sure that you get a nice big hammer. I've got a big thing. It's like a 2-pound brass hammer, something like this. Make sure you hammer it perhaps on a nice big anvil, something like that as well, to stop the noise and to have a solid base when you start to hammer it. But yes, you can hammer it flat if you wanted to, or if you wanted to remelt it and melt it into a thinner ingot, longer perhaps, so it'll fit through the rolling mill. I think the depth of the rolling mill is around about 5.5 millimeters for up to the 100 on the Dustins, I know, and it's about 6.5 millimeters thickness to go through the flats for the 130s and above. If it's a flat sheet, yes, you're going to have to make it thin if it doesn't fit through, but if it's square, you can really fit in quite a large piece into the V grooves, again depending on what mill you have. But yeah, hammer it, no problem at all.
Good. Dorothea is new. Hello, welcome.
Hello,
Dorothea.
Dorothy.
Please ask us a question if there's anything you want to know. Okay. Billy is saying, is there a way to see if cadmium has been used in jewellery, either in the solder or plating?
Cadmium is really, really frowned upon.
It's nasty stuff, isn't it?
Cadmium. I don't know whether there's any cadmium in jewellery these days. It is really frowned upon. It is very dangerous. Do they still put it in solder? I don't know, and I don't know any way that you can actually find out Bill's just coming on, just going to correct me, but I don't know that if there's any way to find out if cadmium is in the jewellery. Bill is saying the rolling mill will compress the crystal structure anyway, so hammering it will simply do the same thing. Every time it will randomly crystal. Exactly. That is exactly what I thought. The way I look at it is the crystals are.
Cadmium is a something toxin and is illegal now, says William.
Yes,
yeah.
I thought so.
A neurotoxin?
Oh, a neurotoxin, nice.
Is that a neurotoxin?
A neurotoxin, wow.
A neurotoxin. Sorry. I thought I was, a neurotoxin. Sorry, I read that. An iron, the Welsh in me. Yeah, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's illegal now.
It is illegal.
Thank you, Bill. Yeah.
Thank you. But yeah, that's exactly what I thought. I thought, yes, if you can hammer it, the crystal structures, it's like they're getting tighter and tighter and tighter, and then you need it, and they go, oh, we've annealed, we're nice and plump again. It's like a squashed blueberry. That's where I look at it.
A squashed blueberry.
Or squash, yeah. Blueberry? Yeah, blueberry. Squash blueberry. You can squash a blueberry. It'll only take so much of blueberry until it splits and goes pops. But then, I don't know what you do to it. And anyway, let's crack on, Louise. Have another question.
So, Bill, don't worry. You can type. I just can't read. Okay. Oh, Phil has a Dustin rolling mill for sale if anybody wants one.
Excellent. Put the model down.
Yes, Janet's got something. Janet, what have you got? If you want, put it in the chat anyway.
Yes.
If you've got something. I know you told me earlier. Yes, put it in the chat. Andrew making a star pendant using Dustin tools. Yes, good.
That's the one. All Dustin actually used on that. Even the solder pick was a Dustin one. Quite chuffed with that. It was all good.
Diana's saying I need to look for an electric mill, having LRTI on my hand next Monday, and supposedly I won't be able to be back in the studio for 4 months and then only light work.
Gosh.
Oh, I hope that goes well.
Have to use your other hand. Perhaps.
Can you hire rolling mills?
No. We have thought of hiring rolling mills, but they're very expensive to ship.
And I suppose that's the only problem, isn't it?
And you've got to look at the quality of the rolls, and they come.
I suppose
back.
the maintenance
There's
down to the
so
hire then,
much.
isn't it? And it's
There's so much to look at.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's have another question.
Wish I'd mentioned.
You mentioned this before, and we thought, no.
Did I? Yeah. Okay. Do you want a picture?
Go on then.
Let's do a picture, because I've got a picture for you.
Let's
and
have a picture.
Yeah. So I had an email from Karen, who sent me some pictures of the craft fair that she did at the weekend, I think. So, are you ready, Andrew?
I think you're still flashing, Louise.
No.
Yes, but yeah, I think a lot of people have been doing craft fairs. Lots of people we follow on Instagram, they've been posting pictures of their craft fairs, and it looks, they're
fabulous.
Yeah.
They're brilliant, and I think it's such hard work, isn't it?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I've never done one, but I can't imagine.
It was cold.
Yesterday was cold, and if you're in a chalet or you're outdoors, I mean, it's hard work being indoors, but being outdoors, you must be. Oh,
Let's have loads of layers on.
yeah. So yeah, but either way, it's very hard work, isn't it? Just the setting up and the security aspect as well is.
It's easy to just run along, pick up something and run off.
Yeah, I know that. I mean, I don't want to scare anybody, but it's probably worth putting your higher value items towards the back. That's probably the best way to avoid that happening. But
can we show? I haven't shown anything.
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
Okay, good.
So yeah, it's there's lots and lots to think about, but everyone's doing amazing, aren't they?
Yeah, all their craft.
Yeah,
shows.
look at this. So this is Karen's stall in the craft fair that she did. She's got the hallmarking notice here, fabulous. And I love that it's all just completely cohesive. Everything matches.
Yeah.
All of the busts match, and it's just there's a bit of symmetry going on as well, which looks great. And it's just really pleasing to look at, isn't it? Yeah, it looks really, really great, Karen. You've done an amazing job. But personally, I would pay more for your pieces.
Yeah. Spend a bit more.
I know it's none of my business, but
yeah, increase the price a bit.
I would pay more. Yeah, I think
I
think they're gorgeous. And yeah, if you just skip off that for a minute, because
we also looked in a really, really high-end jewellers in Cardiff yesterday.
Oh, my battery's running low. Hang on, why is this?
And there was
Oh yeah,
a necklace there. You know, like the tennis bracelets. They're about 20 points each, but it was a necklace, and it must have been 10, 15,000 pounds at least. And the bust they put it on, there were marks.
yeah, it was.
There was a scuff
it was
on
like
the
a
side.
faux leather, wasn't it? And it doesn't last very long. I hate those faux leather. Because after, I don't know, I'm heavy-handed, I suppose, but yeah.
And if you're thinking of spending 20 grand, 15, 20 grand on a necklace, you want it to be presented so amazingly, but the bust was marked. As I say, it was scratched. There was a bit of a scuff on the edge, and I thought, do you know what? Doesn't look good.
No.
Really wasn't happy with that.
But yeah, we
digress.
But Karen's a lovely.
Sure?
Yeah, but please do. Yeah, gorgeous. They were all really, really lovely, gorgeously presented, and yeah, it looks really, really great, Karen. You did an amazing job.
Yeah, really good, isn't it? As you said, it all matches.
Yeah, it looks fab, and so it's nice, isn't it, to see what other people are doing. It's a nice bit of inspo,
Oh my
and
gosh, yeah.
yeah.
absolutely. And it's always nice to see people using their imaginations, with their designs, the way they're laying things out, and the bust. And
Tell us your top tips for doing craft fairs.
Because
I don't know, bring a flask. I don't know, because we've never done one, have we? No. Well, I haven't.
We've done a wedding fair.
I've done wedding fairs in my last career, but I've never done a jewellery wedding fair. But tell us your hacks and your
hints and tips for making yourself comfortable as well.
Yes, that's the thing, isn't it?
I mean, toilet.
Because if you're on your own, who do you trust to keep an eye? What do you? These are the sort of things that we.
Yeah, so drop us a line.
Louise
at andrewandlouise.co.uk.
I don't think you're cheap. I just think I personally would.
You'd be happy to pay more for the pieces.
Yeah, because they're really, really, really lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Fab. Okay.
Should we have another question? Are we still on now? Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Yes. Yeah. What are we on? Yes. Okay. Another question. Oh, hang on, I can't find my chat now. Where's it gone? There is another email I've had from Ingrid.
A flask of coffee is obviously Penny. Obviously a flask of coffee.
That's the first thing I thought of was a flask.
And how about
not a hip flask?
How about fingerless mittens?
If you're outside, I would imagine that would be a must. Yeah.
Keeps your hands warm.
I guess bringing a person, if that person's not going to be there the whole entire time, just somebody who can pop down to relieve you to go to the toilet or have a wander around, or just make sure you get something to eat. Just somebody
get the blood circulating again.
Yeah, or just somebody who can support you so you're not there on your own, because it's hard work as well. I think just keeping your wits about you and smiling at everybody and engaging with people. It's a very long day, I would think, as well.
It would be very long. I'm just trying to find something, and also it is important around about this time of the year as well. And I'm trying to find it, Louise. I can't find it. Look after your fingers. I thought I had my cream around here, but I don't. Yes, look after your fingers. Make sure they're well moisturised, and also make sure. 'Cause I'm just thinking now, my thumb is just starting to get a bit sore. So get a bit of alligator tape to put around your fingers at this time of year as well, which always does help.
Apparently, it's very good because my dad does a lot of pastel drawing. And the pastels dry out his fingers, so I'm just going to try him on some alligator tape as well, actually. You just reminded me. Can we have a quick look at Ingrid's question?
Yes.
Can you ask Andrew in today's Q&A if he can explain why this diamond got cloudy after I soldered a broken prong on the middle diamond?
Do you want to show?
One sec. I don't want to disclose any email addresses or anything on here, so I'm just going to...
Okay.
Ooh. Yes, it has, isn't it?
Shall I show?
Yes, please.
You may find, did you cover it with borax? Has the borax coated the diamond? Can you scratch that borax off? Use a steel scribe. Can you peel that? Can you scratch it off? I would have thought you use borax on me. Have a look at the... It could well be. Looks like it's on the surface. So what's under that claw next to the big stone by there?
Were you sure?
There. What's that there? What's under that? Is that a chip? It wouldn't have. It wouldn't have glazed. The only way what I'm thinking of was that did you quench it in the? Did you quench it in the acid or water straight after when you put the claw on it? Perhaps it wasn't a diamond. Perhaps it was a cubic zirconia, and it is.
Yeah,
doesn't look like it's.
Like that,
doesn't look like it's glazed. Let's have another look. Doesn't look. What's on you now? Laptop. Here we go. Doesn't look like it's glazed because you can actually still see it. It looks like it's coated with borax or a flux to me. Looks like there's a coating on it.
But you didn't work on this. You said you worked on the middle diamond.
All right. Okay.
Hang on. Let me. Is that?
Yeah.
Is that the case?
Let us know.
Hang on, just a sec. Let me just switch screens. Stay there a minute, Andrew.
Yeah, it's okay. Sometimes if you quench them in acid too quick, they will shatter.
Soldered a broken prong on the middle diamond.
Okay. It may not be a diamond. It may be an imitation. It could be covered with borax. It looks like it's covered. Have a look under a loop. Check that and see quite clearly. But yeah, get like a scribe or a piece of titanium, just a titanium clamp, or edge of a silver, edge of a bit of copper, and just go over the surface a little bit, just to see if any of that borax will scratch off. Or soak it in pickle for a little bit, and that should get rid of any borax or flux. I'm thinking you wouldn't often find lasered or treated stones that small, so I don't think there would be a problem with that. But if you've used borax, is Lady on the chat, is she, or is she just... No?
Are you there?
Don't know. But let us know. If anybody else has come across this and anyone has had the same sort of problem, just please pop something into the chat, and we will have a look.
I'm not sure.
No.
Okay.
But no, and then we can email, is it Ingrid?
Ingrid.
We can email Ingrid back and let her know, certainly.
Okay.
All right, Louise, let's have another question.
Righto, okay.
Cool.
Anthony is asking the best way to fire PMC, precious metal clay. Mm-hmm. I'm forming an acorn with PMC, then firing it. It will be about 2 centimeters cubed and hollow. I plan to use the Kembu technique to apply gold foil to the nut part. Oh, that'll be nice. And patina the cap. Oh, that sounds lush.
So it's hollow. Have you joined them together already before you fired? Because what you're going to find is the air inside is going to want to expand due to the heat. That may blow apart the joint of your acorn. So I think what you would have to do in that case was somehow put a little hole into that hollow. So perhaps you've got the bottom and then the nut. Perhaps you put something through from underneath to let the air out if you've joined it all and sealed it. Because as I said, if you heat it up, the air is going to expand, it has to go somewhere. If there's no vent, it's going to pop and open up. If you're going to do them in 2 halves, I would personally put it in a kiln. Yes, Lynn?
Not fired yet, but would drill.
But you would drill?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're attached, they're together. So they're not 2 halves, it's in 1. Okay, so yes, so definitely I would somehow put a little hole. It literally has to be like a 1 millimeter hole, and you can always burnish that over afterwards, because PMC, when it's been fired, is very spongy because all the natural fillers have burnt off, and it's like an aero bar. So it's nice and soft, and you should be able to burnish over that little hole. So definitely have a little hole to let the air out. I would also perhaps use a kiln. If you can use a kiln, I would put that in cold, okay? Turn the kiln on to the correct temperature, and by doing that, the heat ramps up slowly, and then that lets the air out, obviously slowly. So when it gets to the correct temperature, you can put it on some fire blanket to support it. Then when it gets to the temperature, it'll hold there, it'll fuse, and you can let it cool down. If you use a torch, again, what you've got to be careful of is that you don't heat that little hollow too quick, because again, you put a lot of heat onto it straight away, the air's going to want to go boom. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Just come out,
everyone up.
And there may be a chance the hole may not be big enough, and it still will pop. So if you are using a torch, just go at it so gently. Just increase the heat. This is me with a torch. There we go. And just waft it, and just build the heat up slowly, just to allow that air to escape gradually. If it tries to escape too quick, it may not come out, may blow it apart. That's my tip. How's that? Good. Yes, a lot of stones can't take heat. We've been saying amethyst, definitely don't put heat on amethyst. It actually turns clear. Okay, no?
Yeah, I was typing up, but I'll just say, Esther, did you email me about the bangle measurements? Because it's just been crazy, isn't it? So I haven't had a chance to put that together yet, but I will do it this week.
Okay.
So I haven't ignored your email. It keeps opening, and I keep marking it as unread to remind me to do it. So yeah, I do apologise, but it is on the way. Thank you for reminding me. That's fab.
Another question?
Yes. Okay.
Sorry. Delete all that.
Okay. Thank you. Davidica is saying.
Sorry, hang on. Ingrid's on. I didn't put borax on it, didn't quench it until cold, test and confirmed diamond, tried polish it. It still could well be something on the stone that was on there originally. Again, when you put heat onto stones, onto diamonds, you've got to make sure they are absolutely perfectly clean, because the heat will cake on the grunge and the dirt onto the diamonds, and it is really difficult to get that off. So again, before you work on anything, you've got to make sure it is spotless, because the dirt is going to burn. And that may be the case. Perhaps there may have been dirt that's caused and burnt onto the diamond. Only way to get that off is to perhaps heat it and quench it gently, heat and quench until it just starts to clear. That may be the case. But apart from that, it may not be. It may not even be a diamond. It may have been something like a moissanite, perhaps. If the tester tested diamond, it could well have been a moissanite.
Depends if you've got
a simulant.
What sort of tester you've got, but testers are notoriously iffy, aren't they? Anyway.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, if you've got a moissanite and diamond tester, that is pretty good for you. If it's just a simple tester, test whether it's diamond or not, it may have been an imitation. Not an imitation, but a moissanite in its own right. Yeah. Sorry, Louise, just have another question.
Okay. Davidica, sorry, lovely. Is it possible to flush set a trillion-shaped gemstone?
It is.
And if so, what's the best way to do it?
It is. The best way is to get yourself a triangular drill and drill a triangular hole. I am only joking, because you can't get triangular drills. So what you would do, you would basically get your piece of metal, okay? Turn your gemstone upside down and draw around it. So that would be the exact size of your stone. Then what you want to do is drill a small little hole, perhaps slap bang in the middle, all right? And then burr that out bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until you've just come to the sides of your markings, okay? Then what you want to do, depending on how you're going to do this now, you can come along with a saw frame. Use your strip of metal. This is the hole you've just drilled. This is the markings you've got to go to. You could put your saw blade in, okay? Here's your teeth on this side here, if you can, and there's your saw frame here, and here's your handle. Here's my handle, here's my spout. And then you can always go at an angle and cut in, okay, to these areas here. If you're good with a graver, get a nice sharp triangular graver and start here and start cutting into the point. So then you're cutting this away. So that would be the way to get it. And I think this way, if you angle that, you can come along and cut that sort of shape. Or get a tiny, tiny 1mm ball burr and basically burr the whole thing out. Okay? Burr the whole thing out to the hole. Like that. And then you can come along down with perhaps again another ball burr just to neaten up this edge so the stone sits in. And what you want to have is for the stone, and this is what I would do, I'd always keep putting the stone on the top to see how close you're getting. And if you can see from this angle here that the metal is still touching, well then just try and take a little bit more away. And what you want to do is to get that stone to sit, obviously, into the hole a bit far down, like that. So there is a way. It is time consuming, it is boring and laborious, because you've got to try and do that. But by marking the stone, put the stone upside down, so the stone is that shape on your sheet of metal, then you can just measure or just draw a line on that edge that way. Round stone near to the edge, and then start to remove these bits. But the saw frame going through the piece, okay, and that should then get you nice and keep turning the stone over, putting the stone upside down all this way around until the edges just come to the edge. And when you're looking down on top of your here's your sheet, put the stone directly on top. You can turn it upside down if you wanted to. just to make sure that this edge now is perhaps runs along this one edge nice and neat, but perhaps this side it comes in a little bit, so you know you can remove a bit more off, and keep trying the stone on top. Perhaps don't turn the stone upside down because that isn't going to work. You need to put the stone on that way. Keep putting the stone on, keep trying, little bit, try it, little bit, try it, put it on, remove a bit more until the stone sits, until you've just got the stone perfectly touching the edge. Then you know you don't have to go any further out. You can now start to go down to make a nice little seat like that for the stone to sit on. It's not easy, it's time consuming, but it is possible. And that then, yeah, definitely called a flush set. So how would you set it? You could get a needle burnisher, like the burnishers that we sell in the store, and you can just put that needle burnisher at an angle. So this direction here, so this would be the needle burnisher here, at this angle here to move over the metal. Don't try and do it vertical, it'll never work. So always go at an angle just to burnish that little bit of metal over. Come at an angle, you're going to get more metal to come over the stone than if you tried to do it vertically. So always go at a slight angle, and then you can always clean up the edge then by going vertically all the way around. There you go. How's that?
Good.
Let's have another question.
Yes, lots in the chat about cadmium and XRF analysis, which is great. Everybody's helping each other, which we love, but please be aware, any advice undertaken in the chat is, as always, undertaken at your own risk and not endorsed by At The Bench. But thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Good, good. Excellent.
Okay. Okay, good, good, good.
All looking good.
Good. Okay, Mr. Oates is saying, thank you for the videos you have posted. They have really helped me with my jewellery making. Oh,
excellent.
Good.
Thank you.
Question, are there fluxes that don't bubble up white and misplace my solder? I use O-flux, AU-flux.
All flux, yeah.
All flux.
All flux.
Yeah. That's one annoyance I encounter somewhat often.
Yeah, I think this is the thing with a lot of solders. They obviously are water-based. The water has to evaporate, so they do bubble up. What you need to do is don't put the solder on straight away. Heat up the piece until the solder then has gone, not the solder, the flux has gone, and then start to settle back down. Then get your little solder pallion, then put it into place. If you put it on before, 9 times out of 10, as you say, it'll displace the solder. So heat the flux up first, then put the solder on afterwards. I think the majority, we use things like magic boric, which I've just pointed to just by there. Let me just grab me that. I'm not quite sure. I haven't really used magic boric an awful lot. That's magic boric that we have got over there. I don't know why I've got that. I've never really used it. So this is called magic.
That's magic.
Magic boric soldering dip.
That's the worst Paul Daniels impression ever.
Built-in flux, no flux needed, no alcohol, no flaming up, dip and solder for gold, silver and platinum. I don't know why, because platinum doesn't need flux. Yeah, it does contain boric acid powder, so boric acid is another type of flux. I don't know. I just have to try it, won't I? What?
I just thought I could hear it fizzing up, but no.
It's the granules inside.
Ah, right, okay.
I'll tell you what. Oh, let's do a bit of.
You like this?
Magic. Let's
Not
do a
lot.
bit of.
He was good, wasn't he?
He was in his day. He was very good.
Oh.
Right, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Let's do. I got some sample pieces of. Here we go. I got some sample pieces of the stars that I was just testing out.
Do you want any more?
Oh, what's happened there? What's happened there, Lou? My screen has gone.
Oh, you've gone a bit funny.
Ooh.
Oh, heck.
Oh, heck.
That's magic.
What's happened here?
That's tragic.
Tragic, man. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
Look, you got a filter on you.
Ooh.
Oh.
That's not good, is it?
Come on, Mrs. Lloyd, do one. That's enough now. Doesn't like the Paul Daniels impression.
She didn't like Paul Daniels. Obviously, it was Mrs. Lloyd's favourite. All right, this is what we're going to do. We're just going to really quickly try this, okay? So this was completely impromptu. What's happening?
It just looks funny.
Right, I'm going to try this, okay? Closer. Get how close we can get on that one there. All right, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to try this. This is something that, if this fizzes up, if this goes, bleh, you know it's don't use magic boric. So they say you can dip it. I don't have anything to dip it in. I'm just going to stick my brush into that, and I'm just going to paint that over the tips, okay, of this. I've just put that on the sanding paper. So this is magic boric. To be honest, I've never really used magic boric. I'm going to get a little bit of solder. This is what I like about these Q&As, completely unprepared, unrehearsed. And let's see what happens, shall we? Okay, let's get that, put that on top of that. And we shall see if it all... Has anybody else had the same sort of problem with magic boric or not? This isn't actually all going to hold together, is it? Just talk amongst yourselves, guys, a minute.
I did have a tip. Where's it gone? Where's it gone? Where's it gone?
A bit more.
Gillian, when she does a craft fair, always takes something to work on so that people can see the process.
Yeah,
that's
good
fab.
idea.
That's a really good idea. I love that.
Also, I quite like the idea of having like a picture frame, a digital picture frame, so you can play. It's like a slideshow.
Yeah, well, I wanted that in our window. I wanted like a vertical telly, didn't I?
Yes.
Which streamed the bench.
Yes. The problem was we're never at it, so it'd be very, very boring. Wouldn't it?
No, but what you could do is film just like hours and hours of footage, but then I suppose it implies you're there when you're not. But then you're not really saying anything. But you could do something like that, yeah. It's not going to work in a craft fair, obviously, because they'll see that you're there or not. But yeah, in the window. But yeah, that's a brilliant idea.
So let's have a look. It's very hard to see. I do apologise. Let's have a look. See what happens to this magic boric, shall we? Magic boric does not. Bit of solder. There we go. So I just soldered that. Magic boric does not bubble up.
David's saying, I've been joining the chat for a while now and I still don't understand the Mrs. Lloyd reference. Can you please explain? Yes, Mrs. Lloyd. We've had some unexplained occurrences, haven't we?
Yes.
In the upstairs, because the studio here is upstairs above the shop, and we've had quite a number of unexplained occurrences. And this floor is reportedly haunted by the lady who used to live, because this was a house going back years and years and years and years and years, and Mrs. Lloyd lived here. And yeah, I've been tapped on the shoulder. I felt like I've been tapped on the shoulder. I've just not even been thinking about anything. I've literally come out the bathroom into my office and I felt
a tap on the shoulder.
Wasn't frightened, it was just strange. Doors have opened and closed.
Because the front room door opens. It naturally, you have it unlocked and it opens. It will never, if you try and pull it halfway, it'll always fall open. But people have seen that door close.
I've seen it. I thought you've gone into the front room and the door is shut.
Yeah.
And I've called you and you've been sat in here. And I think and there was that time last year or the year before, and we were doing a live Q&A and we heard a knock.
Yes, we did.
And that was live, wasn't it? And that was, because the other side of the store is my office. So yeah, there have been a few things, and it's when we move things around or we disturb things, like we sorted out the front room there, and we've got a shower here, haven't we? And sometimes we run in or we cycle in or whatever, and the shower had been turned right down and nobody had been here, and just things like that really.
And there's unexplained occurrences, and we always say, oh, Mrs. Lloyd's here.
Yeah, so it's always Mrs. Lloyd.
And that's the reason why.
But I think she's a kind...
Yeah.
That's the feeling I get. I don't know. Some people don't believe in it, do they? But I sit upstairs here, and if she is here, she's here, and I work with her, and yeah, we get along great.
Do some bloody
I was going to say, she could do a bit like dusting for me, couldn't she?
Unpaid work, come on. But anyway, going back...
But a number of people have experienced strange things, haven't they? Not just us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and some people haven't actually wanted to go up into the...
They've been too scared. But it's not scary.
And that's where we keep our lots
It's just...
There's stairs going up there.
Yeah. It's not scary,
Hence
it's just
Mrs.
a thing.
Lloyd reference.
So that's Mrs. Lloyd, for anybody who didn't know,
So, to end up, I used that magic boric. Just then, on that star to solder the join, one of the little points, and it did not bubble up. It stayed perfect. So perhaps don't use all flux, don't use borax. Use your magic boric. Magic boric, soldering dip. We don't sell it in the store, but because it is a solution, you have to have a courier to have it delivered. That is the only problem with having liquid fluxes as opposed to things like borax. Louise, it's 5 o'clock.
Yeah, but we were a bit late coming on, weren't we? So should we have another question?
Go on, let's have another question.
I didn't have one ready, sorry. Okay. Daniel is saying, do amethysts or topaz need to be removed before soldering?
Oh my gosh, definitely. Yes, because the heat will turn them clear. Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah, okay. Good. That's a nice straightforward one.
Easy.
Somebody asked to see your bracelets. I can't remember who, sorry, but...
Okay. So what have we got? I've got a few that I can't take off. There's the majority like a Thomas Sabo, aren't they?
Yeah.
This is like a tiger's eye, and there's little beads in between. That's like a tiger's eye one, that one. There's another Thomas Sabo. This is like a black lava beads, I do believe.
I was going to make you
tiger's eye necklace.
A necklace, wasn't I? Got the beads there.
That's quite a nice one. That's got little skulls going around. Again, Thomas Sabo one. The other's this is an really old Thomas Sabo one that I had. I can't remember. I had that one now. There's another one that's very similar, and again that's got a little pave set head on the skull, and this was one that we had not so long ago. This is like a compass on this one, and again like they black lava beads, something like that.
Yeah,
and that does that on the back there as well.
I know they use a lot of what do they, reconstituted hematite?
Do they?
Okay, that's what they said it was.
Sure
and the malachite is what's the word? Synthesized malachite.
Synthesized.
Well, it's not even synthetic because it's...
I like the synthesized.
I know, yeah. Synthesized. It's not synthetic because it's not. It's simulated. Sorry, simulated malachite. Yeah. Cool. So, yeah.
So that's.
But it's fun and it looks cool.
Yeah. So yes, those are the bracelets there. I really should keep the tiger's eye one for summer. That's really more of a summery bracelet. That.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, got one last question then, my dear. I can hear Sharon is packing up.
Yes, okay. Max is saying, I have some melted sterling silver scrap with an unknown amount of solder in it. Could I simply dilute it by adding more non-contaminated silver?
Now this is something that we do. We have pure fine silver casting grain. And if we feel that there is a little bit of perhaps excess solder within the melt, we add a little bit of that. The only reason why we do that is because the solder would lower the quality of the metal, and the fine silver then will increase that quality, especially if you're here in the UK and you've got to have it at 925 silver, 925 parts out of 1,000 silver. But the problem that you've got, even if you do that, you sometimes may not be able to work that ingot because there may be too much solder. And as there's too much solder, there's going to be too much other metals that will perhaps make the ingot brittle. So even though you may be able to raise the quality, you may not be able to alter its physical makeup too much to allow it to be worked. If you're casting it into a specific shape, great, no problem, because you don't have to work it, you don't have to roll it, bend it, draw it down as wire or anything, because you're casting it into the shape. So what we always do, if we've got a load of scrap, if we are melting it down for repurposing through the rolling mill, drawing it down into square wire, D-section wire, whatever, we will always have silver that is low in solder. So we wouldn't put chains in, we would have rings, and we'd always try and cut out the solder anyway. So you're trying to make that metal as, not as pure, but as neat as possible without the solder. If we've got a load of chains, well, then we'll keep them to one side, and when we come to cast, either with cuttlefish or delft clay, not really with lost wax, but with those two types, delft clay and sand casting, we don't mind melting the chains down with a little bit of fine silver, knowing that when you cast it, that is the shape. And because there's solder in it, it may make the metal brittle and crack if you work it. That's the reason why we do separate it out. So nice, clean pieces of metal go into the crucible for reshaping, for bending, for drawing into wire, and all the solder-rich chains and things like that will go into be casting. And that is as simple as that. Good. Should we call it a day there? No, Louise is saying
Vestasha is asking what I got on my advent calendar. So far, tanzanite, opal, peridot, amethyst, and an emerald today.
Very nice. And I hope you've all been enjoying Louise's reels as well.
It's been fun. Okay.
So Louise's reels. Watch out Louise's reels on our Instagram channel.
Just very quickly.
Yes.
Ali is asking, what are the most important tools for beginners?
We sell a beginner's toolkit on our store. You literally need basically what we've got here on our bench. So you're going to need a saw frame. Buy yourself a fixed saw frame. When I say fixed, it's fixed saw frame. You want a torch. I would go for the slightly smaller torches. I don't know where my other small one is. Ah, it's over there. You can pass me that one over there, please.
This one?
Yep. Go for that one. Again, we sell all these in the store. A soldering one. Pair of tweezers. You're going to need some buff sticks. You're going to need a ring file. Don't buy a flat file and a round file and whatever. That's enough. Let me see, go. I don't want to move that too much. Yeah, so a ring file, rounded one side, flat the other side. Pliers, flat nose, round nose, snipe nose, D-section. Those are the four that you really do need. Get yourself a pair of top cutters or side cutters. That's really what you need. If you're going to be doing some soldering, yes, obviously the torch, some borax, and a soldering block as well. You can buy safety pickle. You can use citric acid if you wanted to as well. But if you go on to atthebench.store, we do have a soldering kit that we do sell. Got to post that out tomorrow.
We've got the beginner's toolkit as well, but if there's anything, we put them together ourselves. So the good thing about the beginner's toolkits are, if there is anything that you have and you don't need, get in touch with us. Email me, louise@andrewberry.co.uk, and we can remove items and adjust the price for you. So yes, if you need to buy a kit.
Yes.
Don't think it's written in stone what's on there.
No, you can order whatever you want. Contact us and then we'll do a discount if you buy the quantity or buy the kit.
But yeah, we can be flexible.
Personalised for you, yes. Yeah. Susan's saying Helena has a question.
Helena, what's your question?
So before we go any further, so this will be the last question. What was the question, Helena? We'll have a look now.
Helena, just back from the dentist. I wonder what the difference is in collets made on 17-degree and 28-degree collet blocks. I assume it's a height to width.
Yeah, so very, very quickly, the 17-degree is going to be like this. All right, and did you say 28-degree is going to be more so like that. I never bother with a 28-degree. I find this is too much because the 17-degree for me up to about 1/3 of a carat size, 1/2 a carat, this is going to be good. If you're looking at stones that are sort of 5 mil, 6 mil, 7 mil, 8 mil, I would then go on to the 28 degree. The problem you've got with a 28 degree is that really what you should do to make up your collet is to get your rectangular section of metal. Now if you had the 17 degree, you can simply turn that up. Yep. You can simply turn that up, solder that into the collet, taper it, not a problem. The problem that you've got, if you're trying to do that technique with a 28 degree, there's too much stretch in here compared to down there. So what you would have to do is get your piece of metal and make it into a bit of an arc first, like that. And this really should be a bit more even. Okay, so this should be nice and even. Bend it. This is your section metal like this. Bend it like that. Then when you turn that round into a circle, it will be slightly conical already. Now you put that within your collet plate, and because it's conical already, you can do that. Thank you. Here endeth today's Q&A for Monday the 5th of December.
Good. Excellent.
Everything okay? Good.
Yes, fab. Janet says, fab session as usual. David said, thank you for a brilliant Q&A.
Oh, Janet, did you get Louise's email earlier? Before I go,
I think Janet did, yeah.
About half jump rings look far cooler and nicer. So yes, so you have the round ring, yeah. Half a jump ring looks really nice. If you have to dangle anything off the inside, again, little half rings like that look far better than trying to solder on a round ring. I think that, to me, that looks really ugly. Hurts my eye. D-section, half jump rings, jump ring, there's your jump ring, cut across there, you've got 2 halves. Super.
Nice.
All right, let's go, Louise.
It's the shop's birthday today.
It is the shop's birthday.
So we're off to say happy birthday, shop.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought we had somewhere to go then.
No, sorry.
No, that's okay.
I haven't planned anything.
Okay, no
Wish I had now.
Okay. Okay, yes, so it's been 34 years since the shop has been open. Obviously, I was working before the shop in a little room. In fact, it was directly the other side of this wall in a little room for like a year before that. So yeah, we've been going for over 35 years, but the shop has been in its, what's the word I'm looking for? In its existence
as it is, yeah.
For 34 years. So there we go. It's a happy birthday, shop. Thank you all very much.
I asked you this morning, what's your advice? Because you've weathered a lot. You weathered 2 recessions.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. Back in Thatcher's days.
COVID.
Yeah.
My God, it's just what's.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it, I've always sort of grown organically, if that makes sense. So you don't borrow too much money to buy stock because you're paying interest on stock that's sat in the shop. So I've always made a bit of money, reinvested that money, made a bit of money, buy a piece of equipment, that's the way to do it. If you borrow too much money, you don't know what's around the corner. Can you imagine borrowing money to do a shop up and then COVID hits? You have to pay that money back.
Save for a rainy day, I guess.
So you've got to have. I remember reading Bill Gates' book many years ago, and he always said in a business, always have enough money in the bank to pay your bills if you've got to close. If for any reason you can't open that front door or can't operate, make sure you've got enough money to pay your bills, to pay your rent, whatever it would be, because that still has to get paid regardless. So always make sure you've got enough money to cover that, which is pretty good sort of sound knowledge, isn't it?
It sounds great, yeah.
Yeah, so that's
straightforward and sensible.
That's what I would do. Yeah, and just be honest with yourself, love and enjoy what you do. What else do I say?
Adapt, I suppose.
Adapt,
yeah. Just always look for ways to adapt. Yeah.
As much as I've been trying to dig my heels in regarding CAD, We did that 2 years ago. I'm still learning. I'm still anywhere near proficient. I can just do simple solitaires and that sort of thing. But again, don't be afraid to adapt. Something new comes on. Okay, give it a few weeks and see if it takes off. If it does, my gosh, go and try and learn it. And it is a lot of money to invest in new technology, but don't be afraid to adapt. Don't be stuck in a rut. Don't make the same things year in, year out. Develop your skills. Personal development, always
that's
handy.
vital, isn't
You
it?
really do have to expand your skills. This is where At the Bench is absolutely brilliant, because you can say, I want to learn about fold forming. Try fold forming. It's not for me. Okay, try something else. But always try and come up with ideas. Don't make the same thing year in, year out.
Because how long has At the Bench been going then?
12 years, I think. About 12 years, yeah.
Goodness me.
So it's always evolving, and we still got this website that we're still trying to put stuff to it. It's going to be amazing. We're going to do it in the new year. We've been trying to rush it through before Christmas, but something is going to happen and we won't be able to do it. So we're going to be launching a new At the Bench website in January.
Yes.
So stay tuned for that. So there we go. Our cash flow killed my studio. This is the problem, isn't it? If you put too much money and you
But I
borrow
think
too much
sometimes
money,
it is just pure luck of the draw, and regardless of what you do, circumstances are against you, and there's nothing that you can do really.
No.
And I think sometimes that is just sadly the case, isn't it? So I don't think it's necessarily anything. But yeah.
you can't put your finger on anything, but don't borrow too much. You don't know what's around the corner. Always have enough money in the bank to cover bills for a few months.
I think as well, you can do what you like. We said before, didn't we? Doing what you like is great, and when you really enjoy your job, it's not to say you're not working hard. You are, because you sometimes say, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. What did your father used to say that?
Everyone says that,
but you do. You work. Oh my God, I've seen you work. You work to a point where you're working too hard, and because you're enjoying, you don't know you're working too hard, and then your body tells you you're working too hard. So that's the only thing I would say. But we have to do things that we don't particularly like. Like I don't get excited about some of the brands in the shop. It's like the jewellery that we sell, the pre-owned. I want to sell Victorian Edwardian jewellery. That's what I would love, because that's my big passion. But most of what comes in is not even vintage, it's pre-owned, and which is lovely. It's a lovely job, but I would love to do,
of course,
so we kind of end up doing the things that we're not that passionate about, because that's what makes the money, and that's what pays the bills. So
I would love to do an awful lot of what I wanted to do, but
you spend a lot of your time doing repairs, because that's
what makes the money
that's what gets us paid, and that's what so I think you do have to be prepared to just maybe do things that you're not that excited about and don't really inspire you that much, as well as the things that we do really, really love, which is obviously At the Bench, and me with the gemology and the valuation studies, and you with all your new stuff that you're learning as well. So
I think so. Excellent.
Yes, we're outstaying our welcome now, aren't we? And waffling.
All right, let's go.
I've learned waffling from the master.
All right, everyone, enjoy the rest of your week. I'm not sure what I was going to say then, and we'll see you this time next Monday. We are having to sort out a workshop for November. We didn't get around to it. It has just been absolutely manic, so we're going to try and get another workshop in before the end of the year. It's going to be all about hinges. We're going to do hinges.
Hinges and
and
clasps.
the next one was going to be clasps, because they sort of go together.
Yeah.
So everyone,
I love the waffles too, Claire.
I haven't got frothy a while.
We're going to rename the Q&A to waffles at tea time.
Waffles at tea time. Mid-afternoon waffles. All right, everyone, enjoy the rest of your week. Again, Christmas time. This is what happens at Christmas time, is that there is so much time to do the things that you have to do, that I come up with all these amazing ideas and I don't have time to do them. And this is what happens every single year. So I don't want to do that. I want to do the things I've just thought of, but it doesn't always happen.
Here we are.
Anyway, that's good. Louise, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Everyone, enjoy the rest of the week. We will see you. Keep an eye out for Louise's reels for her gemology obsession. No, gemology obsession. Gemology rocks. Sorry, Kerry. For Gemology Rocks advent calendar, and we shall soon see the rest of your advent calendar.
Yes, I wonder what's going to be next.
I've been enjoying my advent calendar. You can't really see them, but I got a sock shop advent calendar. Every day, new pair of socks. Thank you, Father Christmas. Everyone, take care. We will see you all next week. Take care. Bye-bye.